Hey, what's up? This is David Draiman from Disturbed, and you're watching Loudwire.
Everyone, it's Joe from Loudwire, and sitting next to me is Mr. David Draiman of Disturbed. How you doing, man? Good to have
see
you
you,
in
brother.
here. So you've got the new album Evolution, and could not have picked a better title for this thing.
Thank you.
Because there's a lot of different sounds that you're doing in here, and even some light electronic elements. You know, you kind of hear that like warped dubby synth bass at sometimes creeping in, but it doesn't dominate the
Right.
sound. So where did the idea to introduce these elements into Disturbed come from?
We've had some of those electronic or synth elements going on more prevalently, I would say, maybe on The Sickness and in some of the early days. This one we played around with it quite a bit more. Yeah, we love having those different elements, those little bits of ear candy that you can hear here and there, and things that help, you know, bring texture to the sound. So.
It's definitely a headphones album, which I
Yeah.
always love is picking out, you know, the little studio trickery that you got going on, some
that's-
left to right pans.
That's what we like to affectionately refer to as the Danny Donegan Orchestra.
And
Yeah.
is there anything outside of rock, metal, heavy music that you're listening to now where maybe these influences have started to come in a little stronger?
You know, we listen to a lot of classic rock the past cycle. Like
What kind of bands?
Zeppelin, the Eagles, Fleetwood Mac.
Peter Green era? Or Stevie Nicks?
Stevie Nicks.
Okay.
Era more. Older Genesis.
Love Genesis.
Kansas, I mean, all kinds of stuff, man. Triumph, I mean, like, all kinds of stuff. We really started getting nostalgic about that whole era. And it's kind of that vibe that ended up fostering the environment that made this record happen. The beautiful thing about those classic rock era records is that they were not one-dimensional in any way. They took you on this musical journey with so many
Totally.
different dynamics, and we missed that, and we wanted to try and take our own stab at it.
And my favorite song on here is probably The Best Ones Lie, and obviously some social commentary going on here.
Some of the most successful people in our world are the best liars, even the popular ones.
And now, with the way everything is today, social media, everybody has their hot take on everything. It feels like a message may be lost because people pick sides. There's confirmation bias. They're not so ready to analyze something that they may not agree with. So do you feel like kind of the platform for these messages is a little lost in today's era as opposed to before, maybe like, you know, the Hurricane songs like that?
I would completely agree. I think that it's become one massive pissing contest, and it's like a whole bunch of high school bullies trying to go ahead and come up with the best insult, and whoever does wins the contest on whatever team you're on. It's just, people are so at each other's throats. When you strip away all of that bullshit, we're really more united than you might expect if you take down all the crap.
And now going back to a little bit of the 70s rock you were talking about, and Watch You Burn, one thing that I really loved is the orchestration, and it reminded me of Deep Purple's Perfect Strangers. Is that something that had occurred to you? A little slight nod there?
To me, it feels like Peter Gabriel era Genesis, to me.
Okay.
You know, but I can hear that too, and that certainly would be an appropriate, comparison as far as style is concerned. That's one of the more experimental songs on the record.
One of my other favorites too.
Yeah, we really got into it. It was one of the acoustic tracks or ballads, even though it's got that heavier feel to it, that we wrote earlier on in the session.
Obviously, you had tremendous success with The Sound of Silence. Was that success something that made you realize that this is something that Disturbed fans want?
It gave us additional confidence just simply to be able to go in whatever direction we felt we wanted to, as long as it was done well. You know, I think that a great song is a great song, and whether it's done heavy or whether it's done light, if it's beautiful, if there's a hook, if there's a meaning, people are going to get it. And you know, we've been wanting to do an acoustic record for years. We've been talking about it for more than a decade. And but we've always backburnered it because the machine kept rolling, and
course.
we're making another Disturbed record. Let's just start right out with the heavy stuff because that's what we do, and we would never get to it necessarily. And when we originally thought about doing it, we thought about doing it as just an EP. But these songs came together so powerfully and were such monsters on their own right that it fit very well within the whole desire we had to try and pay homage to and to recreate the vibe of those classic rock records that took you on that journey.
And now I want to talk to you. I know this quote was just a few words, but you
For
said,
the love of God, the Black Album thing.
you said a lot with a few words, but what the Black Album did, is it brought heavier music to a wider audience that
Yes.
maybe didn't realize that they wanted it.
Yes.
Now, with the success of The Sound of Silence and some of the ballads on here, do you feel that you could expand to an audience that maybe did not like the heavy stuff and this is their gateway drug,
I hope,
so to speak?
That's the hope. That's the hope. I mean, and that's what was meant by, every band wants to have their Black Album. Every rock band dreams of it. I just think that this body of work has the greatest potential. The fans will end up deciding whether or not it ends up becoming that. But as far as from a stylistic standpoint, what record do I feel within our discography has the greatest potential to reach the largest amount of people? I feel this is the one. I might be wrong. I hope I'm not. But again, it's more of an aspiration. It certainly wasn't a proclamation.